Hello everyone, Ben here, and well, I'm going to do a 2020 look just as an overview, and well, obviously we're going to select Trump, and oh my word, they've still got a lot. Um, Biden too old, Sanders too old, Warren's declined, but I wouldn't put it past her, but I think she's a bit old to run. Kane rubs me the wrong way just because he sounded like a whiny brat when he debated Mike Pence. And I don't think he'd be able to change that. Kamala Harris, I won't put it past her. Trying to do, but I don't think she has enough experience, in my opinion, to make a good candidate. We'll see. Obviously, we'll see. Um, Al Franken, no, please no. Delaney, that's the Maryland representative. He's actually officially declared. Um, Governor Cuomo presents a lot of the same problem. Same with Booker. Booker and Cuomo present some of the same problems as Hillary Clinton did. Problems with being too establishment and too close to the donors, really. The base may not like them, especially if they keep going progressive. That said, I don't know which one of these would be nominated by the Democrats. I'm not even going to take a wild guess. And this is definitely not going to be the only people running. I mean, it's so bad that Democrats are going to, people have suggested Dwayne The Rock Johnson run as a Democrat, which I think is a little strange because if I remember correctly, it came out that he leaned conservative, like he was kind of like a Hollywood conservative, which do exist. So Trump is so Democrats hate Trump so much that they consider running a Republican, which is kind of I don't so I don't really know what's going on with the Democrats. It's not my place to guess. So yeah, I really don't even want to take a guess as to which Democrats in the strongest position to run in 2020. Maybe a governor, like the governor of Louisiana. He might be an option. I forget what his name is, but that would be a good option. Maybe Manchin from West Virginia. Hickenlooper might be an option, though I'm not sure if he'd get in, if he'd get elected with a name like Hickenlooper. Sherrod Brown is a good choice. For people who think Terry McAuliffe, governor of Virginia, no, he's a numpty. No, he so I'm just going to get rid of any state that I think is just insurmountable, and this is kind of why I think. It's. I'll leave that vote blank. I'll leave Texas blank as well. Yeah. Okay. And the reason why I'm doing this is because this is popular demand to do this at this point in time. Personally, I wanted to wait until I finished my Regions of the U.S. series. That way, I could explain. I didn't have to go over each region. Those are solid blue. So I'm going to eliminate all of this stuff. think District 2 is the blue one in Maine. Okay. So this is for 2020, right? All these states are in the, I'd call, vague battleground states. Now, in 1992, Bill Clinton's campaign offices had something called, had a big writing on the wall that said, "It's the economy, stupid." Okay? And I don't care how controversial a candidate is. I mean, within reason. Like, of course, if they were a convicted felon, that would trump just about everything else. But I don't think this is an extreme case where the economy can be discounted, especially in areas where it matters for an election. Okay, at least for the foreseeable future. 4 to 10 years. Okay, at least next cycle. Okay, that's all. That's as far as I want to reach out. Okay, and as far as the next cycle is concerned, the Midwest is kind of where the election's going to be won and lost. And that is big for the industrial sector, which, if you've paid attention to the stock market, the industrial sector has been booming. Dow passing 22,000 for the first time ever. Overall, they're up, I think it was like 19%. The Dow and Jones Industrial Average is up like 19% since the election. The S&P is up, I think, at least 4%. The economy has done extremely well since the election. Now, this could all change. Don't get me wrong, this could all very much change. But as it stands, the economy is doing just too well to discount. And I actually want to add the leaning and toss-up, okay? So, as it starts off, we're going to put that in, we'll put it in the lean column for now. Texas, I'm going to put in a solid, because I don't think third parties are going to do as well in 2020 as they did in 2016. And that's bad news for the Democrats, because the Libertarians suck up a lot of Republican votes to begin with. Most Libertarians don't like the Democrats, especially after 2016, because the extreme left wing of the Democrat Party, not your moderate Democrats. Moderate Democrats are okay in my book. Like Kelvin, you can find his channel in my related channels on my main page. People like Jim Webb, those types of Democrats. They're okay in my book, because they're at least decent people and they understand that different opinions exist and that they don't have the only valid opinion. Okay? But even then, Libertarians tend to caucus with the Republicans because under most circumstances, at least the Republicans pay lip service to our ideas. So that's bad news for the Democrats. The other bad news is that polling still indicates there's a lot of quote-unquote undecided voters, and we remember how heavily those undecided voters broke for Trump, especially in swing states in the Midwest and Rust Belt. Oops, I missed Indiana. Indiana is almost assuredly going to go for Trump in 2020. So I'm going to give a neutral forecast where everything remains as is. Okay, economic progress doesn't, the economy doesn't improve, but it also doesn't decline from here. Okay? I'm also going to give a economy explodes in a good way. In a good way. So the economy booms from here. And I'm going to give a forecast for what happens if the economy tanks from here. Okay? Because I think the economy is going to be the most important issue in 2020. If the economy does well, so let's actually start with that. So the economy doing well. New Mexico, I'm going to put this in likely blue, okay? So it's going to be within 10 points. And I'm going to use the same ones I classified: over 10 points, under 10 points, and lean is with, sorry. So this is a true toss-up is going to be anywhere between 0, as in it's a dead true toss-up, to 1%. Anything above 1% to 5%, I'm going to call a lean. 5.1 to 10% is going to be my likely, and then solid is anything above 10. Okay? Colorado, I am going to have is also likely. And Nevada is going to be a lean, I think. Okay, in the event that the economy absolutely booms, and I'm talking more, I'm talking, the United States maintains 5 to 6% GDP growth, as well as stock market keeps booming as it has, and even maybe the national debt being paid off a decent amount. Okay. We may as well mark in that case Ohio and Iowa is solid Trump states in that case. With as much as this is going to scare Democrats, these 3 states won't change, and Trump may improve his margins in these states. Not enough to make them likely, but they'd lean Trump in that case. Because guess which sector of the economy is biggest in these areas? That's correct, the industrial sector. And I would call Minnesota a true toss-up in this case. New Hampshire, I'd also call a true toss-up. Maine's 1st district, I would guarantee goes for Trump. In the statewide vote, would be a true toss-up. Virginia, surprisingly, it was only a lean Democrat this year. And I would maintain that in 2020, given so far how well Republicans have actually been polling, because Ed Gillespie, in his run for governor, has actually done a decent job in maintaining a decent margin with his opponent, Ralph Northam. Though Libertarian Cliff Hyra is going to throw a spanner in the works, obviously. North Carolina would be a lean Trump state, in my opinion. Georgia, would be a likely Trump state, and Florida would lean towards Trump ever so slightly. So Trump would at this point stand to improve, or at least maintain his map. I don't think he would grow it. He could. The most likely vote would be the Maine vote. The other states, I don't even want to attempt to call. But I think in the event that the economy booms, he's at least maintaining his map, which is bad news for Democrats in 2024. But if the economy maintains its current pace of growth, I just don't see how Trump loses in 2020. Because, as we all remember, it's the economy, stupid. Now let's blank these out and talk about what would happen in the case of the economy flatlining from here. And what I mean by flatlining is numbers remain stable where they are, so it doesn't grow beyond maybe 1% or so, doesn't lose beyond maybe 1% or so. Now, I think Texas this year was a bit of a fluke, but I'll go ahead and include it for argument's sake because it was within 10 points. Okay, without significant, weirdness from third parties. I should have included Arizona, I'm sorry. That one's on me. Anyway, so from here, if the economy remains the same, Arizona leans Trump. Nevada would probably be a likely Democrat state if I can actually get to that color. Good. I actually think Colorado and New Mexico would go solid blue. Texas, I think, would be solid red, but ever so slightly. We're going to put that as likely. Maine would probably still ever so slightly lean Democrat. Minnesota would start off with a slight Dem lean. Iowa would be likely, so would Ohio. These three states would be true toss-ups. North Carolina would have a slight Dem lean. I think Virginia would be likely blue. New Hampshire, I think, would start off with, again, a slight Dem lean. Georgia would be a likely Trump state, and Florida would also be a true toss-up. So the election would definitely be competitive, but here's the problem. Unless the Democrats are able to change their message in the Midwest, it doesn't matter. Because just actually no. If Trump were to only win that, okay, yeah, that would put him over the top. Trump would only need to win Florida in one of these three states. A Democrat, on the other hand, is also in the situation. They'd both be going for Florida, which would give them the biggest chance. However, both could win without Florida. So it would truly be a competitive election. But I think Trump would come out as the victor simply because the economy has already rebounded a significant amount, has expanded a significant amount. And people tend to vote with their wallet. So a lot of the swing voters who begrudgingly voted for Clinton might say, well, I may not like the person, but the economy but my paycheck has increased since he got elected. I think I'll go with where I'm getting more money. Now, let's assume the economy tanks. I just need to clear a bunch of these. I should have made sure that stayed blank. If the economy tanks, Trump's Twitter feed is going to actually start mattering now. The biggest complaint I hear from people who support Trump is that he can't get off of Twitter. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it would look like if the economy tanked. first off, we can write off Nevada, Colorado, and New Mexico. Arizona would, in my opinion, would be a true toss-up. I could see this district actually having a slight Dem lean, and that's the Omaha district. Iowa would also have a Democrat lean. Ohio, in my opinion, would probably have Democrat lean. So would all these states. And Minnesota would go back to being a likely Democrat state. New Hampshire would probably be a likely Democrat state. I'm going to leave this vote as a true toss-up, but I think the rest of the statewide vote would likely be a likely Democrat. Virginia will be still be a likely, but it'll be on the upper end of likely Dem. North Carolina, true toss-up. Georgia only lean GOP. Florida would probably lean Democrat, and Texas would only be on the outer edge of, like, just barely likely. So it'd be approaching lean status, in my opinion. Indiana might actually move into only a likely state. And in this scenario, Trump is actually struggling to maintain he's not even maintaining the Romney map. But again, this is if the economy tanks, which, as of right now, I don't think it's going to, but it's entirely possible. We're still, 3.5 years out. And of course, this would be huge for the Democrats. I would suspect they'd also probably take at least one House of Congress. Probably both. But my current prediction, if I absolutely had to choose a winner for 2020, with no toss-ups, this is a tough one. The main vote is actually really tough to decide. I'll go ahead and put it as a lean Dem. New Hampshire, I'm going to lean that Democrat. Debating what to do. Indiana stays there. It's a lean. If I absolutely was forced to make a prediction today, my boldest prediction would be that Minnesota goes red. That would be my absolute boldest prediction, is that Minnesota goes red. So this would represent an improvement for Trump. I do see him slightly expanding the map. But I also could see this going many different ways. And we have to remember, this is still 2017. This is not anywhere near 2020. We don't even know who's the true front runner for the Democrat primary, for the Democrat nomination, so who knows. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.